Roll call.
Counsel Barton?
Present.
Present. Counsel Cahill? Present. Counsel Capano?
Present.
Present. Counsel Chakutis?
Present.
Present. Counsel Calucci?
Present.
Present. Counsel Seer?
Present.
Present. Counsel LaPierre?
Present.
Present. Counsel Lozey? Absent. Present. Counsel Net?
Present.
Present. Counsel Trahan?
Present.
Present. Counsel Walsh?
Present.
Present.
All rise. Moment of silence. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Councilor Lozey, do you have?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to renew, reappoint the assessor, Mr.
Chris Gator?
Chris Gator.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, roll call.
Counsel Barton?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Cahill?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Capano?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Chakutis?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Calucci?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Seer?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel LaPierre?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Lozey?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Net?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Trahan?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Walsh?
Yes.
Yes.
Communications.
Okay, dear councilors, pursuant to my authority under Section 2-3 and 3-9 of the Lynn City Charter, I hereby reappoint Andrew J. Hall to the position of DPW Commissioner, subject to council approval. Said appointment shall take effect upon council approval. Sincerely, Judy Flanagan Kennedy, Mayor.
Motion to approve?
Motion made, seconded. We need 8 votes to approve Commissioner Hall. So, I mean, I know it's going to be a tough one. Does anybody have anything to say? Hi, Andy. Okay, roll call.
Counsel Barton?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Cahill?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Capano?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Chakutis?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Calucci?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Seer?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel LaPierre?
Enthusiastically, yes.
Wow. Yes. Counsel Lozey?
Andrew Hall, yes.
Yes. Counsel Net?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Trahant?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Walsh?
Yep.
Yes.
Councilor Trahan.
Thank you. I'd just like to say one thing about Commissioner Hall. He came in the biggest winter of all time, probably of history, of the snow he got. So I can't believe he's still there after all this time. He thought he would have learned his lesson, but I just wanted to commend him. He did a wonderful job straightening it out, the DPW and the snow plowing, and with the help of Councilor Seer and a lot of us, he does a bang-up job, so I'd just like to add that.
He does a great job. I'm going to tell a little story about him, too. He was here maybe a couple weeks, and when we got that major snowstorm. And Andy's the kind of guy, like a lot of us, he's hands-on. He likes driving the equipment. He likes plowing. And I get a call from the Lynn Item with a photographer and a reporter wanting to ride around the city, seeing what's going on. So we're up on Mountain Ave, and I can't get anywhere in my truck up there. So I give Andy a call. He says, you know what, I'm right near there. I'm on my way up. So it's his first time coming up there. And I backed down the road. I said, Andy, you all set? You're going to be able to take care of this? He goes, yep. 5 minutes down the road, I get a call from Andy. He goes, I think you better come up here. I'm stuck. I said, all right. So I drive back up there, and I got a reporter in the truck and a photographer from the Item. And there's Andy, the back of the truck hanging over a wall down the bottom of the hill. So I'm telling the reporter and the photographer you can't take a picture. And I tell Andy, you know who these guys are? It's the only time I ever heard Andy swear. We got him off the wall, his truck was okay, but he's a great guy, he does a great job, so.
There he is.
Councilor Cahill.
We all have similar stories about Andy Hall because it was the same snowstorm that I had been trapped in my house with my wife. Not trapped in the house with my wife, but with 2 young kids and my wife. They were very tired of seeing me, and Andy Hall had come by by Bel Air Ave because another side street has not been plowed, and he said, "Jump on in." And I'd never been in a really plow before, and we had a ball just blasting about a bunch of snow, and you could appreciate how hard it is, and B, how much fun it is. And we never left my little enclave, which I wish we had. But Andy did a great job, and he's very hands-on for a department head to show up and really take the bull by the horns. It shows you how great he is. We were lucky to steal him from Water and Sewer. I think Water and Sewer has tried to steal him back a few times, but he's done a great job, and I'm sure we'll have fun stories like that with Andy.
Yep, and we're gonna make sure he stays right where he
One
is.
question, Cahill, did he buy her a hamburger at McDonald's on that
We
trip?
weren't even close to McDonald's.
Okay.
Mr.
Okay,
President, Mr. President, I would also echo my colleague's sentiments on Mr. Hall, and not only Mr. Hall for responsiveness and the way he runs the DPW, gets a lot out of, and a lot of production, and goes a long way throughout the city on limited resources. So I really want to thank him and even his leadership staff as well as the workers who are on the ground doing the work, because he really does an admirable job. And really, and I know the wards deal predominantly with him and with concerns, but as a counselor at large, I've had numerous requests put in, and they're always dealt with. And sometimes you don't get the right answer that you want to hear, but in most cases, I would say he's really, really attentive and really goes to bat and tries to do the best he can with limited resources. So I thank him as well and his whole department. Thank you.
Thank you,
Sorry I started this.
Okay, public hearings. Congratulations, Andy.
Can we, George Potter, recognize him too?
That's good.
Things could not get done without George. We all admit that, so thank you.
Okay, we have a
Roast him
petition of Cristobal Garcia, pastor of Iglesia de Deos at 16 Union Street for a sign permit.
All those wishing to speak in favor? Anyone wishing to speak in favor? Anyone wishing to speak in favor? Seeing none, that part of the hearing is closed. Anyone in opposition? Anyone in opposition? Anyone wishing to speak in opposition? That part of the hearing is closed. Councilor Calucci. Motion made to approve, seconded. Roll call.
Counsel Barton?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Cahill? Yes. Counsel Capano?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Chakutis? Yes. Counsel Calucci?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Seer?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel LaPierre?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Lozey?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Net?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Trahant?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Walsh? Yes.
Next public hearing.
We have a petition of Dollar Tree located at 15 Joyce Street for a sign permit.
Anyone wishing to speak in favor? Anyone wishing to speak in favor? Anyone wishing to speak in favor? Seeing none, that part of the hearing is closed. Anyone in opposition? Anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Seeing none, that part of the hearing is closed. What's the wish of the council? Councilor Calucci. Motion made, seconded, roll call.
Counsel Barton?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Cahill?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Capano?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Chakutis? Yes. Yes. Counsel Calucci?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Seer?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel LaPierre?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Lozey?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Net?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Trahant?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Walsh?
Yes.
Yes. And we have a petition for Joyce Street LLC located at 17 Joyce Street for a sign permit.
Anyone wishing to speak in favor? Anyone wishing to speak in favor? Anyone wishing to speak in favor? Seeing none, that part of the hearing is closed. Anyone in opposition? Anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Seeing none, that part of the hearing is closed. What's the wish of the council? Council Calucci.
Approve.
Motion made,
Second.
seconded, roll call.
Counsel Barton?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Cahill?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Capano?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Chakutis?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Calucci?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Seer?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel LaPierre?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Lozey?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Net?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Trahant?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Walsh?
Yes.
Yes. We have a petition. Oh, sorry.
Councilor
I
Trahan.
just have one question. What business is that? Joyce Tree LLC, like what kind of business are we putting up?
That's the Dollar Tree
Oh,
on.
that's all part of the Dollar Station?
Dollar Tree.
It's gotta be a Dollar Tree.
Next public hearing.
Okay, we have a petition of Massachusetts Patient Foundation, Inc., for permission to operate a dispensing-only medical marijuana treatment center at 487-491 Linway.
Everyone wishing to speak in favor?
Mr. President, through you to the members of the City Council. I'm Attorney Sam Vitale. I'm here on behalf of the Massachusetts Patient Foundation, Inc. With me are the principals, Joe Lakesh. I think many city councils have met when we were going through the RFP process. Attorney Valerio Romano, who represents Massachusetts Patient Foundation and many other medical marijuana dispensing-only facilities. Brian Friedman, who owns the property at 487 491 Linway. The reason we're here this evening, as the clerk indicated and read, is to get your permission to operate a dispensing-only medical marijuana treatment facility. Previously, we'd filed with the application a package of materials and supporting documentation consistent with your zone ordinance requirements. In that package, the materials you had seen as city councilors when you selected the Massachusetts Patient Foundation as one of the individual companies that would be allowed to operate within the city of Lynn. That package has traffic studies and a variety of other materials, and I know you've all looked at that, and I won't bore you by reading it or going over it again. I've also provided to the clerk and council president and to each member a package of what I'm going to just briefly be speaking about this evening. The hours of operation would be Monday through Sunday, and it would be from 8 a.m. To 8 p.m. and not to exceed those hours. And as I indicated at the outset, it's to be at 487 491 Linway. And as you know, members of the council, because you were all participants in the evaluation procedure, Massachusetts Patient Foundation is a Chapter 180, that's a nonprofit corporation that has applied for certificates of registration from the Massachusetts Department of Public Health. That's the state agency that, after the voters approved medical marijuana, is charged with carrying out and making certain that all of the requirements of the state law are satisfied. And as I indicated, we were one of the two applicants that you selected, and for that we thank you. We want you to know that we're committed to go forward, as we told you at the time of the RFP, and to expeditiously begin this process with you as partners in ensuring that you get the best quality operation which the citizens of Lynn and surrounding communities deserve. And as you know and have determined already, Massachusetts Patient Foundation provides consistent high-quality medical marijuana and medical marijuana products that are in a safe environment to those patients who are qualified and registered, many of whom suffer debilitating conditions. We intend to work, and have, I think you've all seen, and Councilor Capano and others could attest, we've worked with stakeholders, business owners, others in the community. Joe Lakesh and those who are in the executive team, I've provided a brief biography of each of them. I won't bore you by reading the details, but obviously they're very proud of the high quality of individuals that they have supporting their application. Our petition describes how we conform to your requirements and to, more importantly, the site requirements as outlined in the City of Lynn zone ordinance. As you know, you selected as an area for medical marijuana an overlay district, which is in the city's waterfront zoning district. And we meet and satisfy that criteria that are found not only in your RFP, but in our current zone ordinance. And as you know from our previous presentations, we'll have tightly controlled security that will be there in a 24-hour operation facility in terms of surveillance. As I indicated, we would only be operating from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The majority, as you remember, we talked about how people would, some of them, once they qualify, get home delivery. And the majority of those deliveries are going to originate in a pharmaceutical company that's a cultivation area now that Massachusetts Patient Foundation acquired before they began this process here in Lynn. So the cultivation is there, the deliveries would emanate from there, most of them. They would be, as we indicated before, with security for the people who are getting deliveries at their home, which we think also will facilitate the demands on the particular site in terms of daily traffic. In the package that I provided to you is the floor plan as we proposed it, the layout. There's a picture that contrasts the Cooper Lewis building as it's known now with what we hope it will look like in the future. And you can see it's a marked improvement. And as I think you all understood, we took a building that was empty, didn't blend well, and now we want to give it a purpose and have it blend well with what the city is working for in terms of the development of the Linway. As I indicated, we believe that we satisfy all of your requirements. The facility that we have is one in which we think it will be easily accessible to people who live in the city of Lynn. It's close to the MBTA, the bus lines. It's on the Linway. We think it's accessible not only to the citizens of Lynn, but perhaps from those surrounding communities that haven't acted as you have in selecting a site for this activity. We want to, in summary, locate, obviously, at 487, 491 Linway. The cultivation and packaging and processing will occur at the Fitchburg facility. The products will be brought in a secure fashion and packaged and delivered to the city site in Lynn. We are in the midst, with the assistance of the law department and the mayor's office, of negotiating a host agreement that we think meets all of the selection criteria and the zone ordinance requirements. That host agreement requires, in our judgment, your participation, and as we indicated to you, we would urge that that continued, we accept and would expect that you would make that as a condition of our special permit. Also, we've asked that, since we can't put the cart before the horse, that any compliance that we have to meet in terms of a certificate of compliance or registration from the Department of Public Health, that also is a condition that we would greatly appreciate being as a stipulation, a condition. We think that the economic impact is going to be well over $1 million. We're going to provide real estate tax revenue, a host agreement revenue, job opportunities for the people who live in the city of Lynn, and obviously we're going to provide relief for many people who require medical marijuana to treat their medical conditions. So in summary, I'd say I'd be glad to answer questions if any counselor has them, but we think that this use will be safe, attractive. It's appropriate for the area because you designated the area. We don't see any substantial burden or impact on the cities for services. We've met with the fire chief, the police, and those city agencies that we think may have had a concern. We don't envision any detrimental impact on the neighborhood, and we've talked with Councilor Carpano, who zealously represents those folks and lives not far from this site. And we think that overall, if you approve this special permit, that it would be consistent with the intent and the purposes of the zone ordinance, and it would be consistent with what the process that you all initiated, and it would allow us to be able to go forward and proceed to the next step. I would be glad, as I indicated, to answer any questions that any member may have, and I think that if you review the packages that we presented to you prior to the meeting, to the submission that we made to the city clerk, I think it would only reaffirm what I've indicated this evening, which is that this proposal that we were fortunate enough to have you make the selection and choose Massachusetts Patient Foundation is one that at the culmination of the process, once the host agreement is negotiated, that we can all look back on with some degree of pride. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor? Anyone else?
Thank you, Mr. President. Lou Markakis, the president of Linway Associates. I was called upon by Mass Patient to locate and find a building that was in the district, which we did. I proceeded to represent the seller and Mass Patient in those negotiations. And I just wanted to thank the council members for meeting also collaboratively and individually. One of the important components that we wanted to address was the mitigation piece relative to what the councilors were interested in and what the neighborhood was interested in. So we made a concentrated effort to meet collaboratively to find out what the concerns were, and we are happy to say that we think we've addressed those concerns. We work with the neighborhood as best as possible. I wanted to thank the councilors for taking the time. Individually, we've met with just about all of you at least once, and collaboratively, we met with the fire chief, the police chief, under the direction of Councilor Barton, was kind enough to put that together. So we wanted to make sure everything was addressed, and the mitigation piece was a big component of this. These gentlemen have done exactly what they said they were going to do within the time frame that it was expected of them, and we appreciate every consideration from the council. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor? Anyone else wishing to speak in favor? Anyone else? Seeing none, that part of the hearing is closed. Anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Seeing none, that part of the hearing is closed. Councilor Capano.
Yeah, so I don't want to repeat anything that's been already said, but I just have to say a couple things. I think that the Massachusetts Patient Foundation has worked collaboratively with us like they said they would, and I think they've done everything they said they would do, and I think they've worked well with the city council. Unfortunately, we don't have a host agreement yet, and the intention of the council was that we would do a host agreement and then do a special permit, and we've had plenty of time to do a host agreement, and we don't have one yet. But having said that, I don't want to hold this up unnecessarily, so I would like to make a motion to approve the special permit with some of the following, with all of the following stipulations that I want to read off. I like it conditioned on Massachusetts Patient Foundation, Inc., providing a copy of its registration as a medical marijuana treatment center from the Department of Public Health to operate in the city of Lynn. 2, I'd like this conditioned on the Massachusetts Patient Foundation, Inc. executing a satisfactory host community agreement with the city of Lynn. 3, I'd like the conditions included in Section 13 of the Medical Marijuana Zoning Amendment. 4, I'd like the Massachusetts Patient Foundation, Inc., providing a description of the security measures, including employee security policies, approved by the Department of Public Health for the Medical Marijuana Treatment Center. 5, Massachusetts Patient Foundation, Inc., providing a copy of the emergency procedures approved by the Department of Public Health for the Medical Marijuana Treatment Center. 6, Massachusetts Patient Foundation, Inc., providing a copy of the policies and procedures for patient or personal caregiver home delivery approved by the Department of Public Health for the Medical Marijuana Treatment Center. And 7, Massachusetts Patient Foundation, Inc., providing a copy of the policies and procedures for the transfer, acquisition, or sale of marijuana between the Medical Marijuana Treatment Center approved by the Department of Public Health. I just want to say, that, is looking at this from the beginning, I would have never have thought that the collaboration between this group and myself, and I know from speaking to some of the other councilors, could have went this well. But I'm thinking about the interests of the city. I mean, one of the benefits of doing this is having a satisfactory host agreement. And I don't know any other way to move forward with this without having these, these stipulations. So, that's my motion. My motion is to grant the special permit with those stipulations.
Those 8 stipulations, seconded, discussion, Councilor Cahill.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to thank Councilor Capano for really like a year-long process on this, who he has worked really hard with the neighborhood, with applicants, and this council has taken a stand and has been proactive in promoting and knowing the value of allowing medical marijuana in the city of Lynn. And this started really almost in 2015, 2016. And the ordinance that I believe was passed was 2016. And here we are 7 months into 2017. And the process was as such. We would approve an ordinance, which we did. The council approved an ordinance. From there, we were to promote and select certain applicants to enter into a host agreement with the mayor's office. We had done that, and with the current fiscal situation that the city appears to be in, you'd think that an adequate host agreement would be entered into rather quickly. We're not talking about pennies here, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars that could flow into the city of Lynn's coffers. And we've taken a stand with the meals tax, we've taken a stand with the mayor-requested trash fee. And here we are, something that, that's a no-brainer, in that would bring hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not more, to the city of Lynn. And we're behind schedule, not to our fault here in the council. We've done what we needed to do, passed an ordinance, selected an applicant. A negotiation is supposed to take place. These negotiations shouldn't take weeks, months, years. This should take days. Something that other communities have done pretty quickly. But here we are approving a special permit because we have to, because everywhere else is a timeline except for the city of Lynn. It's like time freezes here in the city of Lynn when it comes to timelines, but everywhere else, everyone's held to accountability. But here we are, having to approve an applicant who's already been approved by us preliminarily. We should have a host agreement in place today, but we don't. We don't negotiate that. That's the mayor's obligation. Hasn't met that obligation today. And here we are approving an applicant either retrospective or irrespective of a host agreement, which is so backwards. It's frustrating. We should be voting on a host agreement today like it has been intended, which we have known about for over a year, but yet, again, here in Lynn, we just haven't figured out how to do it correctly. Hats off to Councilor Capano. He's been a gentleman through this process. He's worked very hard.
Did you say gentleman?
A gentleman. Out of patient,
I'll
out of
take
his
it.
control.
I'll take it.
Put that down,
It's
please.
just, again, frustrating where we're asked to do all these other financial measures, but yet something that's so simple, that has been on the horizon for so long, again, sits at the threshold of the mayor's feet, and yet comes to us, again, late, without an agreement. It's frustrating. Of course, we'll approve it, but we shouldn't have to without a real plan in place. I think we have a great partnership with the folks behind us. They've been very upfront, and they've been, correct me if I'm wrong, true to their word. I think they want a host agreement more than anybody. But that being said, I just wish that we would have something in place that we all knew in advance should be in place, but it's not yet again. And that's really all I have to say about that. It's just disappointing that, again, we're behind the 8 ball, and the council has to take the threshold up and force the issue.
Thank you, Council Cahill. Council Lapierre.
Thank you, Mr. President, and I will not beat the proverbial dead horse. I concur with
that a guarantee?
Councilor. Yeah, it's a guarantee. I'm going to be very brief. But I find it, irony is not lost on me. The place that would like to open that we granted, Massachusetts Patient Foundation. Isn't that the truth? February 14th, they were granted, to be able to come into our city and provide this service to those affected. As Councilor Cahill eloquently laid out the timeline, we've been debating this since I've been on the council, it feels like. Every meeting, the first half of my term, revolved around medical marijuana. And I specifically remember saying then, as a council order, that this council should have representation inside the corner office with the mayor when she decides to negotiate a host agreement. I remember this clear as day, and it's on the record. Said it on TV, said it here, wherever you want me to say it. I said it out in the streets of Lynn. This has to be done. And CFO Karen reiterated that stress all fall and winter long. If we could just reap the benefits in this current upcoming fiscal year that began 11 days ago, July 1 of 17 for the FY18 year, we're going to have X amount of dollars through the work that this council did by way of host agreement and money's due for medical marijuana dispensaries. And here it is, mid-July. It's very frustrating. I echo that same word of my colleague, my counterpart at-large, Councilor Cahill, because it is frustrating, Mr. President. And when I asked just last meeting, when we had contentious budget debate, and we avoided layoffs, and we made approvals and approvals of different things that we had to do to bite the bullet and try to balance the mayor's budget, I said again directly to Her Honor, when are we going to have a host agreement in place for medical marijuana? What's taking so long? February 14th, colleagues. They met with these folks May 4th. It's now July 11th. Councilor Capano, I take my hat off to you as well. You have the patience of a saint in dealing with this and the ward and the neighbors, and I am proud to support this special permit. I know it's putting cart before horses, but maybe, just maybe, it will light that fire needed so that we can get the necessary resources into this city that are dire. Thank you.
Can you top that?
I
'Cause
did
if you
keep
can't,
it brief.
you're
I
not
was
gonna-
brief.
Go ahead.
I just want to say a couple things, because, I appreciate being called a gentleman and having the patience, but you're all wrong about that. I don't have much patience for this at all.
Gee,
So,
just enjoy it. It's
you-
not
you
gonna
know,
last.
I don't, I just, it's not a true representation of what's going on here, I just remember wanting this opened up to the whole city, not in one particular spot. So I took my place on this council as being the only person opposed to doing this. So don't miscalculate my patience as a sign of weakness or anything like that, because make no mistake about it, if I had to vote again, we wouldn't be having two zones in Ward 6. It just wouldn't happen like that. This is the way it is. I'm accepting what we did, and I want the host agreement just as bad as everybody else.
Come on, go ahead.
I'm not going to top that, believe me, all my colleagues. I was just curious, do any of my colleagues know the host agreement amount? Does anybody know that?
Ready, Lamont?
Can I just say one thing with that?
Sure.
If I could, through the chair. I just wouldn't want to negotiate, I wouldn't want to weaken a bargaining position.
No, I actually wasn't looking for a number. I was just curious if, because we've kind of been left out in the dark of this. I mean, we don't even know a number. I just leaned over and asked Councilor Barton, and he didn't know. There will be a number before you. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't want it out in public either. I was just curious if anybody knew, and I didn't, and I
think
just,
we're pretty close.
On a lighter note, Mr. President, you see these two gentlemen here? Can you show us their socks? They got the best-looking socks. Look at the socks these guys have on. Huh?
It's a good thing these chambers are air-conditioned tonight, that's all I'm gonna say. Is there anyone else got any
socks are part of the
comments?
host agreement.
Roll call.
Counsel Barton?
Yes.
Socks.
Yes. Counsel Cahill?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Capano?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Chakutis? Yes. Counsel Calucci?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Seer?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel LaPierre?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Lozey?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Net?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Trahan?
Yes.
Yes. And Counsel Walsh?
Yes.
Yes.
Public hearings to be set down for August 8th.
Can I read them all together?
Second.
Please.
Request for a public hearing on the city's annual action plan, including the use of the Department of Housing and Urban Development, appropriations for the Community Development Block Grant, Home Investment Partnership Grant, and the Emergency Solutions Grant. Petitions of Kettle Cuisine LLC for a sign permit at 330 Linway. Petition of Vicky's Restaurant at 141 Essex Street to serve wine and malt beverages in an existing restaurant with hours from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Petition of NS Holdings LLC for an apartment house use in a business district at 559, 563, 567, and 571 Summer Street. Petition of National Grid to install one joint-owned pole on Boston Street, beginning at a point approximately 0 feet north of the intersection of Boston and Washington, and continuing approximately 150 feet in a northerly direction. Petitions by Mobility to attach, maintain, and operate cell communication equipment on existing poles at the following locations: Eastern Ave and Lambert Street, Western Ave and Bel Air Street, Commercial Street and South Common, Hanson Street, and the Linway.
What's the wish of the council?
Motion,
them all down.
set down.
Motion made. Seconded?
Second.
Seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Yes, have it. Committee reports. Ordinance and Rules, Councilor Lozey.
With the ordinance committee, we had a discussion with Deputy Chief Desmarais, and motion to accept for the record
Second.
It was about noise, is that what it was about?
regarding the noise ordinance.
Okay, all right. Ways and Means, I'm going to ask the clerk to read. If everybody doesn't mind, I'm just going to have her read all of them, and then we'll go to Councilor Trahan.
Okay, transfer the sum of $5,652 from the account of various and abandoned vehicle expense to the account of parking expense to fund the purchase of new meters. Transfer the sum of $423,868 to the account of FICA expense to fully fund the account through the end of the fiscal year. This shortfall is due to the settlement of labor contracts. Transfer the sum of $180 from the account of reserve to the abandoned vehicle payroll to fully fund payroll through the end of the fiscal year. Transfer the sum of $617 from the account of reserve to the account of emergency management payroll to fully fund payroll through the end of the fiscal year. Transfer the sum of $600 from the account of the reserve to the account of parking payroll to fully fund payroll through the end of the fiscal year. Transfer the sum of $100,000 from the account of reserve to the account of school department expense to fully fund FY18 school department allocation. Certify as an available fund the amount of $172,973.91 as allotted to the City of Lynn Health Department by the Department of Public Health for the FY 2018 Mass Tobacco Cessation and Prevention Program. Certify as an available fund the amount of $65,101 as allotted to the City of Lynn Police Department by the Department of Justice for the FY 2015 JAG grant.
Councilor Trahan.
Unanimous vote of the committee. Motion to accept.
Motion made, seconded, roll call.
Counsel Barton?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Cahill? Yes, Counsel Capano?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Chakutis?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Calucci?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Seer?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel LaPierre?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Lozey?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Net?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Trahan?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Walsh?
Yes.
Is there an emergency?
For an emergency?
Motion made for emergency, seconded, roll call.
Counsel Barton?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Cahill?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Capano?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Chakutis?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Calucci?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Seer?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel LaPierre?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Lozey?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Net?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Trahan?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Walsh?
Yes.
Licensing, Councilor Walsh.
Thank you, Mr. President. We had some discussion on the licensing committee tonight about the Boston Street corridor and the trash issue down there. It was a unanimous vote of the committee, motion would be to approve.
Second.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, Councilor Lozey.
I'd like to take a vote on this, and I'd like to make a motion following this as well regarding that business.
So you want the vote and then,
Yes, and then
Okay.
come back to me if you would,
so
please.
a motion has been made in regards to accepting the committee report. It's been seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Councilor Lozey.
Thank you, Mr. President. There was lots of discussion tonight about the Boston Street corridor, and we had before us several businesses with extended hour permits that in the past have stepped up and really have done a great job with cleaning up that Boston Street corridor. And however, we're still seeing some problems. And one of them is a business that does not require extended hours or a special permit, and that's the car wash. And I've been getting a lot of complaints, as the other councilors have. People are out there in rows of cars, vacuuming their cars, dumping out irresponsibly the litter and trash, and it seems that the car wash is not cleaning up. They're not taking due diligence to clean that, and it's a shame. So I think our discussion was, we agreed that we would make a motion, and I'd like to make that motion, for the ISD to go out there, if necessary, daily, to enforce the nuisance laws and trash laws regarding specifically the car wash on Boston Street. So that in the form of a motion.
So,
Second.
formal motion's been made and seconded that we send a letter to ISD requesting them to
Out there
go
doing-
on a daily basis to, you'll have to get the address of Boston Street, to enforce the litter ordinance and any other.
Nuisance,
Nuisance.
trash, and debris in their facility.
Councilor Cahill and then Councilor Barton.
I defer to Council Barton.
Councilor Barton.
Through the chair, Council, I think a lot of the problem down there is that, at closing hours at a car wash, people are going in there and vacuuming, throwing trash away, so I think that's a lot of the problem too down there.
The after-hour might be a problem, I'm not certain. I've heard that there's a possibility the vacuums are or aren't on, which really shouldn't be because they don't have a permit for that. But I've visually observed during the day that people cleaning their cars out, particularly on a Saturday, and they're just dropping it right on the spoons, plastic spoons, forks, napkins, paper, debris, and it's just blowing around, and it's all part of the problem on that Boston Street corridor.
Councilor Cahill.
Mr. President, I appreciate the council's bringing this matter up, because we've all been receiving calls and emails from people saying there's trash all around the city of Lynn. And you know who's putting trash on the ground? People who are traveling through Lynn. I mean, I had a conversation with someone who was calling me about the trash in downtown. I'm sitting on the corner in Central Square outside of Dunkin' Donuts, and the person's chewing my ear up about how Lynn's doing nothing, and somebody just pulls up to a red light, literally opens the door, and does that. It's so frustrating. You talk about the car wash? I take my son there. We have a very regimented Saturday. I go to the dry cleaners, I go to the bank at Salem 5, and then I go to the dry cleaners. People just throwing right out the side of the door. I caught 2 people the other day on my street emptying stuff out of their door. Now, I called the police. However, I got very agitated, and I started to chase the car down the street. They understood that I'm a pretty large person. And as they saw me come after them, they U-turned out of my street and went down illegally down the shoulder of Western Ave. It's so frustrating. Can people just stop throwing crap at the side of their cars? Can they just do the proper thing and throw it in a garbage can? That's the problem. People blame government for not cleaning up. Can we just blame people for starting throwing crap on the side of the street? That's the problem. When you show up to an establishment to clean your car, it doesn't mean, oh, I get to throw everything outside of my car on the road. People clean that up. Like, regular residents have to clean that up. And when you see somebody, I'm sorry, when you see somebody starting to throw trash on the ground, you know what? Don't look the other way. Point it out. Because you know what? Years ago, when somebody threw trash on the street, be 3 or 4 people saying, hey, you better pick that up. People understood what that meant. Today, it's like, oh no, we can't say anything to anybody. People are littering in our streets. It's not Wendy's, it's not McDonald's. They hand the bag to the people and they choose to throw it out their door window. So as Lynners, we should be proud of our city and stop littering in our city. And when you see somebody littering in our city, you chase them down, you tell them that's not right. Because as soon as we stop regulating ourselves, yes, I know this is very surprising, but you know what? This is very frustrating for all of us in Lynn. The minute we stop policing ourselves is the minute we've lost. So you know what? Let's take some pride in the city of Lynn. Let's tell our kids, you don't litter. Kids walk on the side of the street, they just throw their gum wrappers on the ground. Like we're animals here. That's outrageous. Take responsibility. I do all the time. I take the extra mile. And by the way, there's not enough garbage cans around the city, Lynn. You can't find enough garbage cans in the downtown. It drives me crazy. You look around, there's no garbage cans to throw the garbage away, so what do you expect people to do? We've all experienced this, right? We've all experienced this, and as of lately, it's been out of control. So let's just let's start taking pride in our city and stop littering everywhere, and start calling people out for doing it.
Councilor Net and then Councilor Trahan.
Mr. President. I suggest that we should have sign everywhere in the city that if someone litter or throw trash out of the car, so we should fine them, put $100 fine or whatever, $50 fine, and we should have the right to call up the cops right away, go after them. Want to make an amendment on that.
I make an amendment that says, the sign that says, if you litter, you're a jerk.
Councilor Trahan.
Thank you. I'd just like to make a motion that we make Councilor Cahill the head of the trash police in the city of Lynn.
Motion made.
I think I made a motion.
We didn't call the vote on.
All right. Motion made to
Second.
send a letter to ISD to ask them to enforce trash ordinance at the car wash on Boston Street, seconded. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Anybody else have anything to say?
Yeah, could we have the DPW put more barrels in downtown Lynn?
When we did that the last time, the barrels were being filled so rapidly by people bringing their trash that it wasn't keeping the streets cleaner, it was actually making them dirtier, believe it or not.
Moving right along.
Motion to suspend the rules, Councilor Cahill.
Make a motion to suspend the rules to allow Her Honor, the President of North Shore Community College, Patricia Gentili, to address the council.
Well, good evening, Mr. President. Good evening, City Council members. Actually, I was enjoying this. So,
This is one of our slow nights, too, so.
I'm here because last year, the MBTA introduced a new program, and it's called the Youth Pass. And what the Youth Pass is a 40% discount pass for bus and train transportation for low-income youth. There's really two categories. There's 15 to 18-year-olds who are out of school, because they have the Charlie cards in school, who are in some kind of job training or education program. And then there's 18 to 25-year-old low-income youth who are in a job training education program, a college student. And as you can imagine, with about over 9,000 students enrolled at North Shore Community College, we have a pretty large share of students who are low income. Approximately 50% of our students are Pell eligible, which means they're low income enough to be eligible for a federal grant. What this card would do for those folks who are eligible, it would give them a year-long discount pass that when they get on the bus or when they buy a monthly pass, they would be able to buy that for a 40% discount. So the MBTA requires a partnership with the municipality, and North Shore Community College is willing to do the administrative work at no charge to the city to allow anyone who is eligible to come and to be able to get an MBTA youth pass. We know it'll help our students. It's a win-win for us. We think it's good service to the city, and we'd love to try the program out here in Lynn at you'd be able to come in during our open hours at what we now call our Student Success Center in our new extension, and just show us, the youth would show us their verification of age and a SNAP card or a whatever they have that demonstrates their low income. For our own students, obviously, we have information on their financial eligibility through their FAFSA, and we'd be able to administer this program for the MBTA and for the city. And that's why I'm here to ask for your approval so that the mayor can enter into the agreement as our partner, and that we can get this up and going for the September semester. Any questions? Be happy to answer them.
Thank you.
Good, thanks.
Do you have any questions?
No, just, yeah, Mr.
Councilor Lozey.
Thank you for that presentation. One question, you may have already answered it, and this is solely funded through the MBTA and the state?
It's a discount program, and what the MBTA does is they give us the equipment that we need to produce the discount card. Our responsibility is to keep a spreadsheet of information to make sure that the person applying for it is eligible, and then they can audit the trail on an annual basis if they need to do that. That's it. The MBTA will give us the supplies and the equipment. We provide the labor.
Excellent, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
If I just may,
Councilor
thank you,
Cahill.
Mr. President. I just want to thank President Gentile. She was really the driving force on this. This is a program that's been available, and it had stalled in the city of Lynn, but through the brute force and determination and persistence of the president has this come to us before today. So this is going to benefit a tremendous amount of kids and young people in the city of Lynn, and really the sole praise and thanks is deserved to President Gentile. And
Well, thank you.
And that is someone, I've been involved in this when the president contacted my office. Literally, you are it. This is your program. You push this through, and it is going to be tremendous, and you deserve all the praise, and thank you.
Well, we're really glad to provide the service.
I just want to say that Councilor Trahan had to leave because he had to take some medicine. He has a thing going on in the morning. He wasn't trying to be rude to you.
It's not a
so-
problem.
Okay.
I just have a
Councilor
quick question
Lafayette.
for the Madam President. Is this eligibility only based on if they're enrolled in your college, or is this for all Lynn youth?
It's anybody who is low income
That
and
meets
can
those
demonstrate
guidelines?
that, and that is in a job training or education program, or a to-work type program. So anybody, for example, who's involved in ROCA or other kinds of programs in here, Pathways Incorporated, not just our students, but we have plenty of students who we know will benefit.
But you're willing to sort of
Everybody.
administrate for all
Yes,
of the...
for anybody who's eligible. It's a public service.
Great, thank you.
Also, students from, like, going to UMass Boston, like, say, they'll qualify?
Yeah, as long as they can show us the qualification materials, then yes, they would be eligible. So anybody who's 18 to 25 and is low income and can show us both low income verification as well as that they're in a job training program and college students are eligible, yes, we could provide them the discount card. And I have to say, for us, we have, obviously, to get to our Lynn campus, we have plenty of transportation there. But for many of our students to get to the Danvers campus or to get to our culinary arts program in Middleton, it's very difficult. So we know even the students that are coming to the Lynn campus, many of them take public transportation to get to us. And with our hunger and homelessness survey that we did in the fall, we know a lot of our students are really struggling. That 1 out of 3 have been hungry in 30 days before the survey was taken. 1 out of 5 have been homeless. And so we know that by reducing their costs for transportation, we help our students retain in school. And so there's a real benefit for us, and that's why we're doing it for all.
Thank you.
Councilor Capano.
Yeah, I just want to say I fully support the program, and, that's great work and, well needed. I just had a side question. If
Anything
you
I can
don't mind.
answer.
So I was wondering if it would be possible if, sometimes there's events across the street at the Heritage State Park, and I know it
Yep.
needs some work, and there's a problem with parking all the time, which makes it very difficult to have any type of events on the waterfront, and it was built for that, I think, years ago with the intention of, that's why that bridge was built, so people could park at the college and then be able to go across the street. So if there was a way we could sit down, possibly, if there was an event or two in the
Yeah, I'd
summertime.
be happy to talk with you.
Would that be a possibility?
I'd be happy to talk with you. The only thing I can say is that because we have a fairly healthy enrollment, Monday to even Saturday, we're pretty busy and that parking lot is pretty full. What we're going to be doing is, I am sure some of you know that we're no longer going to be at the MBTA garage building on the first floor, and that lease that we've paid into for over 20 years allowed us to have free parking for our students in the garage. We're going to lose that. So we know that the parking will become tighter when our college is open. But I'd be happy to talk to you about special occasions. For example, we work with the Topsfield Fair, that on the weekends, They use our parking lot in Danvers for special occasions so that they can transport people back and forth. So I'd be happy to talk to you.
Yeah, because the few events that we've had there, the parking lot's been empty. So
Okay.
So I'd like to work it out. You know, I'm
Yeah,
not
be happy to
trying be
talk to you about
critical. I just would like to straighten it out. Just seems like a no-brainer. It seems like a win-win for everybody. And it's something that I think for the couple events that we have there in the summertime, it would be
Well, I will
really-
follow up and talk with you about it.
Thank you very much.
Be happy to
Thank
do
you.
that. Yes, we try to be a really good citizen for the community.
I think you do a great job over there.
Thank you, appreciate it. And by the way, September 15th on Friday at 7:30 in the morning, we believe the governor is coming because he's got to pass us on the way down to Boston anyway. We're going to be having the grand opening of our new extension. And we have a wonderful community room up on the 3rd floor, and we've been inviting in all of our Lynn partners and others to come and to participate and take advantage of our new facility. And I'd love to have you all there. So put September 15th, 7:30 in the morning, it's early. And the one last thing I could say is, we have a wonderful environmental horticulture program that's situated in our Lynn campus, and we have lots of potential workers for certain businesses that may need people who understand plants and so on. Just want to put that out there because we'd love to help place more of our students in work. Be happy to give you my card.
Councilor Barton?
7:30 a.m., September 15th, and you will get an invitation. This is just to give you a heads up so that you don't book yourself someplace else. Okay?
Councilor Barton?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, roll call. I'm sorry, Janet has to read the order, I'm sorry.
Okay. Ordered that Her Honor the Mayor is hereby authorized to all necessary agreements between the Massachusetts Bay Transportation Authority and North Shore Community College to provide eligible Lynn residents and residents of the North Shore with a discounted youth pass.
Motion has been made, seconded, roll call.
Counsel Barton?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Cahill? Yes. Yes. Counsel Capano?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Chakutis? Yes. Yes. Counsel Calucci?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Seer?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel LaPierre?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Lozey?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Net?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Trahan, absent. Counsel Walsh?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your good work.
Next, we have a resolution for 83 Willow Street. Now, Madam Clerk, please read.
Whereas the land located at 83 Willow Street, Lynn, Mass., has become a public safety danger due to the real or perceived presence of oil or hazardous materials, and performance of a site assessment will facilitate redevelopment of the site. Whereas the City of Lynn has been awarded a Brownfields Recoverable Grant in the amount of $99,500 from Mass Development, the Recoverable Grant, for the assessment of the site, the project. Whereas the City of Lynn has agreed to repay the recoverable grant pursuant to the terms of the grant agreement. Now, therefore, the Lynn City Council votes as follows. If the site or any portion thereof is sold, conveyed, gifted, demised, ground leased, or otherwise transferred, and as a result of said transfer, City of Lynn receives funds that exceed the aggregate amount necessary for repayment of existing monetary liens, mortgage loans, and other debt on the project, and all of the costs incurred by them in the acquisition, development, ownership, and sale of the site, or of the portion of the site transferred, the net proceeds, then sponsor shall reimburse Mass Development the full amount of the net proceeds up to the amount of the recoverable grant that has been dispersed and has not already been repaid to the Mass Development the dispersed funds. Beginning in the fiscal year when an economic benefit to the municipality as herein defined is realized, the City of Lynn shall include in its annual budget a line item requiring payment to the Mass Development of an equal amount to 15% of any economic benefit of the municipality until the earlier of 1, full repayment of the dispersed funds, 2, the expiration of 30 years from the date on which the first economic benefit to the municipality is realized, or 3, if no redevelopment of the site commences, the expiration of 30 years from the date of the recoverable grant. For the purposes of this vote, economic benefit to the municipality means any increase in its annual property tax and/or other municipal revenues for the site, including but not limited to nonprofit pilot revenue, local hotel or restaurant tax revenue, and new local revenues derived from municipality-owned redevelopment projects, attributable to the development of the site above the baseline value of the property as herein defined. And finally, the baseline value means that the amount of property tax and related tax revenue assessed by the City of Lynn on the site in the fiscal year of the execution of the agreement governing the recoverable grant, such amount having been calculated by the municipality and determined to be $68,300.
What's the wish of the council?
Motion approved.
Motion made to approve, seconded, discussion. Councilor Cahill?
I just want to say, I just want to thank the city council and you, Mr. President, on working through the lead team to try to bring these type of projects to fruition. The state has been working very hard to ensure that gateway cities have access to such capital to improve a lot of parcels that are prohibited from development through 21E issues, and this is something that is a perfect example of where the state is working with the city to ensure that we can clean up some of these properties and create economic development in otherwise areas that would never, ever be developed for many, many years due to contamination. So it's a real honor to work on my behalf of the state and the city side, but see it how it all comes together. And of course, I'm working with Congressman Moulton's office as well, who's really put some pressure on this, and this is some of the things that we've been seeing as a benefit of the lead team. So thank you for your leadership and a lot of the pushing from the city council to make sure that this site is a priority.
Thank you. Anyone else? Roll call.
Counsel Barton?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel
Yes.
Cahill? Yes, Counsel Capano?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Chakutis?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Calucci?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Seer?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel LaPierre?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Lozey?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Net?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Trahan, absent, Counsel Walsh?
Yes.
Yes. 10 yes.
Any new business? I have new business. Go ahead, roll your head. I just want to say in the last 2 weeks, we've gotten 2 new restaurants that have just opened up in the city of Lynn. District 45 at 45 Lewis Street. It's unbelievable. You got to try it out. And also Vicky's at 141 Essex Street in Lynn is a new restaurant. I think it's pretty good that all these restaurants are coming here to the city. And every time a new one opens up, I'm going to announce it. I want to make everybody hear and understand that Lynn is a city that people are starting to come to for their food, the entertainment that takes place in the building. That brings me to last week, the 4th of July, we had unbelievable weather everywhere throughout the city. The events, the block parties, down at the beach, it was amazing, all the different things. A couple weeks ago, I mentioned Wendy and Calvin, and what a great job they're doing up at High Rock Tower. Come to find out, and I'm not surprised, that Councilor Calucci more or less funds that entire event. And I'm going to tell you what, that I wasn't really that aware of it. I knew it was taking place, and I actually went up and became a small part of it, stood in the background and I watched. And it's a place in the city that I don't think a lot of our residents realize, even though we all can see the tower there, but you got to go up there and you got to see the view and the grass and the park. It's an amazing park in the city of Lynn that gets so underutilized. And if it weren't for people like Calvin and Wendy and Rich that put on events up there, they had probably close to 1,000 people, and it was all families, and there wasn't any incidents. There was no trash up there. I was up there the next day. Place was spotless. Calucci and his pizza, he was handing out pizza to everybody. So I just think that he deserves a round of applause tonight. So. Now you can say it.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Come on.
There you go. Motion to adjourn, second.
There's always the next time, Counselor.